live. All we are is dust in the wind. Dust in the wind. Hey, this is Amazon Jude coming to you live from Casper, Wyoming. And today's date is 3/22/18, and this is my breast cancer video. Okay, we got through the first chemo, and we just did the second chemo yesterday. So I'm looking to see that it's probably going to be pretty much like the first chemo treatment, about 5 to 7 days after you have your first chemo treatment. The first one is a really big blast because that's the one they, try out all these drugs on and find out what the interactions are going to be, if there's any problems, if you're having any big time issues. So that first blast is a hell of a son of a bitch. And you'll feel fine for a couple, 3 days afterwards, but about day 5 or 6, that's where it starts kicking in, and your body knows it just took another jolt of some shit that's not only just destroying the cancer cells, but it's also messing with your normal cells. And this is where your T cells take a beating, and your platelets, your white blood count, your red blood count. Your brain will get a little more foggier. I found myself the other day, you're never going to believe this. I went over and visited my son and his wife, and first thing I figured out is I was going down the highway doing about 55 on a 1800 motorcycle, and I don't remember doing it. So be careful, because you will get chemo brain. Names are kind of difficult to remember right now. And oh, before I forget, Kathy Ide and Bob Ide, I adore you people. Thank you for the bread, Kathy. I have enjoyed that with cream cheese on the mornings that I really don't feel like oatmeal, and you have no idea what that means to me. So smooches off to you, girlfriend. Anyways, so about 5 or 7 days, I got a little screwed up because I think I caught the flu in between there. And remember this, guys, vitamin C is your friend. Vitamin D is your friend. Bananas, applesauce, yogurt, anything that doesn't have a whole lot of texture to it, because your mouth is going to get sore. And how you can help that along is buy yourself a good old box of just Arm & Hammer baking soda, and brush your teeth with that with a little salt water, and it should take care of a lot of those canker sores in about 3 to 5 days. In the meanwhile, your mouth is really sore. Mine was sore on the top of the tongue, and then right underneath it on the one side. And anyway, that'll help with that. I try not to use a lot of the medications, and I try to stick to a little bit of the homeopath stuff. And if you're as lucky as I am, and you had a couple of girlfriends that work in the nursing industry, and they can give you some shortcuts on this. And then Rocky Mountain Oncology nurses, they're really, really, I am so dark here, huh? Let me turn on a light. See if that's a little better. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting my cave idea, and I live in a cave, and it's my strategy war room for not only cancer, but for the political, excuse me. Yeah, you can, oh yeah, the first chemo treatment's going to give you really bad gas. But you're never going to know if it's just gas or if, you might have a bowel movement. So be sure to stick close to home around those times, or at least close to a bathroom. But then again, make sure you realize you can deal with diarrhea naturally. And I found that if I did a thing of applesauce, I was trying to find some activated charcoal, because that's pretty much what's going on in your stomach, is you got some kind of bacterial going on, and that's why you're having the diarrhea. And after so long, that's exactly what's going on. But you can do, I bought those little cups of applesauce, and now I figured that I just bought me a big old jar of it, keep it in there. And I bought like 8 cans of sauerkraut, And I always have yogurt. I always have bananas. I always have strawberries. I always have all of these really good sources of vitamins. And don't forget, your greens are really important too. Folic acids and stuff like that. But be sure to tell your doctor if you're taking over-the-counter medications or vitamins. But if you're doing it through food, it shouldn't affect anything. As long as you're getting your, your protein's really important at this time too. Try to stay away from really red meat. I mean, you can spoil yourself once in a while, but tomato sauces and things like that are going to taste funky. So I know if you're Italian, that's got to be a bitch. Lydia, I like to watch her Sunday mornings or Saturday mornings or weekday mornings when she's doing the big Italian cook-off. I'm from Detroit, so I know what Chinatown is, and Italian food areas and Greek food, and now they have Indian food, and there's always a place in the city where you can go get a specialty meal. But you want to stay away from the spicy foods. Try to stick to bland foods. You can do this for 6 months, because your treatments are either 2 weeks apart or 3 weeks apart. Mine are 3. So it's once a month that I have to go through this really bad 9 days of just being horribly sick. And that's why I'm doing the video tonight, because I know over the next 3 days it's going to start up with me, and I'm not going to feel like much of discussing this. But I did make a promise when I began this cancer treatment that I would do a daily log, so that any girls that are out there, and maybe I should share a little bit with you of who I am. My name is Judy. My road name for being a biker for 29 years was Amazon Jude, and someday you'll have to ask me the story of how I got that name. And I was a bartender and for a lot of years here in Casper. I started out in the automotive industry in Detroit, and then Lee Iacocca came along with the minivan, and my jobs started leaving, and we were all into Bruce Springsteen and Allentown and shutting their coal mines down. And that's where I believe it was Papa Bush that took over in 1982. Well, I left in the 80s, so there was 10 years before Papa Bush took over, but we were already being drained of our manufacturing jobs. And Chrysler, we once had 30,000 small businesses feed our giant plant for making cars, So that'll tell you what happened during the 80s and the reason I left Detroit. We opened up a phone book, and my husband and I, my first husband, we took a pen and we closed our eyes, and boom, we hit Cheyenne, Wyoming. And we thought, wow, we'd never been out west, and here we are, city slickers, and used to locking our cars and chaining down our patio furniture. What a brand new life we could have if we could have the kids playing in the yard and, not have to lock the doors at night, and drive-by shootings and muggings and all of that, because I got mugged twice one time. I was working the graveyard shift at Ford Motor Company, or no, that was Chrysler. And I always just took my lunchbox and, basic ID, driver's license, and, we didn't have debit cards back then, but we had credit cards, and if the car broke down, at least I had a credit card and maybe $10 in lunch money so you could buy pop and stuff in the lunchrooms. Because we didn't leave the plant. I mean, we had our, about every 4 hours we got a 15-minute break, and it was time enough to go smoke a cigarette and maybe sit in the lunchroom and visit with one of your coworkers or something like that, and munch a cookie or a half a sandwich, and then it was back to work, and then it was lunch, at noon or 12:30. Well, I worked the graveyard shift because it paid $1.38 an hour more. There were less brass walking around, up your ass all day long, and you could get a rhythm going with your Walkman around your head, and we were what they called piecework. So the more pieces that I produced, the more money I made, and that was great. I mean, that's before the unions took over, and those big boys, they'd sit on their ass all day long, and us workers had to work our nuts off. This is one of the reasons that I never joined the United Auto Workers, because it seemed like after Jimmy Hoffa got buried under the Ford Freeway, the union got corrupted, and that was the United Auto Workers. And I'd say the same thing for the teachers' unions. They've gotten corrupt where you can't even fire bad teachers, and that's why our kids are being taught by these liberal assholes who never really held a job in their life. But anyway, I wanted to let you know a little bit about me, so you know I'm not bullshitting you when I'm on here. I don't just live in Casper, Wyoming. I grew up in downtown Detroit. My father was a police officer for 27 years, and he raised 6 kids, 5 boys, or 7 kids, 5 boys and 2 daughters, and we lived in, you know, East Detroit, Michigan. It was supposed to be a middle-class suburb. Went back there about 15 years ago, and now you got hookers on the corners giving blowjobs. So that tells you how bad Detroit's economy is gone. And of course, it's been run by Democrats. And Grosse Pointe and got Dearborn. Dearborn was one step above East Detroit, which is a little better upper middle class. Well, the Muslims have taken that over. It looks like a mini Beirut. And your Stubbenau and a couple of the other reps up there, you need to shit can them motherfuckers. They're destroying Michigan big time. Wisconsin, you better wise up. You've got Robert Painter going to run an Al Franken spot. And Al, we know what Al was. Al was an asshole. He ended up bullying Sessions so bad, got him to recuse, and according to some media outlets, he recused himself on a bad law that wasn't even exactly what it should have been. But anyway, let's get back to the cancer talk. I wanted you guys to know a little bit about me, that I do my research. I look at not just conservative news, but I also look at the opposite news. And I make up my own mind, and that's all I can ask of you guys, is to make up your own minds. But I'm just here to dole it out there for you. Where did I leave off? Oh, anti-diarrhea pills. You can also, like I was saying, do the natural remedy to that. And that's a little bit of applesauce, a little bit of burnt toast scrapings. Just put it in some water. It tastes like shit, but it does the trick. And then you want to add something that's going to give you good bacteria to your stomach. And that's usually like your sour vegetables, your pickled vegetables. I happen to like sauerkraut. And I can eat it anytime, any day. We had Polish Town in Michigan, too, in East Detroit. It was on the northwest side of downtown Detroit. But you could get some of the best Polish food you ever saw. Hamtramck, Michigan is the exact town. And we had this Polish sausage factory across from our first apartment. I think it was 6 Mile and Warren Avenue. Predominantly black, but good middle-class black. They worked at the factories. I think we were the only white couple in that entire building, but, you know, it doesn't take me long to make friends, because I don't see your color, I see your character. And on Sundays, I'd ask, like, the old folks that, you know, needed stuff from the grocery store to make me a list, write a check out, and then I'll just bring a ticket back for their check so that they know they can deduct exactly, you know, what was on the check. But I would go to, you know, apartment to apartment to the old folks. And my boyfriend at the time, Randy, who later committed suicide in California when his friend died, he had some mental issues, and he came from kind of a fucked up family, so I know what suicide's about as well. No, you don't see it, you don't understand it, and I thought I was doing everything for him, but evidently he was still lacking in, I think, maybe in a little bit of a bipolar way. But anyway, I would go to these apartments, and we both would get their shopping list. Usually it's like 4 or 5 of them, you know, that need milk or coffee made, or, you know, toilet paper, or, you know, preparation H or whatever. And we just say cover the gas, you know, and back then it was, what, 79 cents a gallon. So $5 times 4 people made us $20, and everybody got taken care of, which is great. So anyway, after you deal with that, did I tell you that you're going to get yeast infections? Yeah, I did. And then, oh, for a shopping list, always include stuff that's going to be great for, like, electrolytes. Because you're either going to, you know, the diarrhea is going to cause you to lose a lot of water. And I went through that the first time that I had so much diarrhea that I was dehydrated. And I think that's why my brain was getting so foggy and screwed up. So you don't want to dehydrate yourself. You want to make sure that you're getting water. If your water, check your water at home. I would suggest a nice Brita bottle, or have them bring you in water, because 9/10 of the water you're drinking is full of fluoride, and out here, what's it called, selenium. And you could leave a glass of water on the side of your bed and wake up in the morning and there's all these floaties in the bottom. Also, if you let a water glass sit and it's got all this crusty stuff in it, you don't need it. But you don't want totally distilled water. Like here in Casper water smells like sewage. And they won't spend the money on getting a new water treatment plant. But my husband gets Evansville water, and that comes not out of the river, it comes out of a well. And it's good. It leaves no sediment. Your ice cubes freeze clear. Coffee tastes better. You don't have the buildup in your pots, when you make coffee. And so if you can find good water, do replace that, because you don't want the fluoride. That needs to be pulled out of our water system to begin with. I don't know if you know too much about Hitler, but he also fed fluoride to the guys and women in concentration camps, because it hinders your ability to be aggressive. It makes you almost docile. Look that up. You'd be freaked out. This kind of shit our kids should be learning. Anyway, I made a 16-minute video, and we talked about eating. We talked about diarrhea and sleep. We talked about, your hair. Here's a good one for you. I always teased myself because I grow this beard. Okay? I don't have a beard anymore. In fact, my skin is really soft. And I lost the hair on my head. I'm looking to see when my armpit hair is gone. I don't have to shave there anymore. I'm still having a little trouble. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm still getting this little pocket of lymphatic fluid. And it's been there since surgery. They took some lymph nodes out of there. So it took a beating, because I had the lumpectomy first over there. And then like 2 weeks later, we did the full mastectomy. So that side's been beat up pretty hard. And my surgeon gave me a band to wear around. I'm supposed to wear it for 4 hours and then release it and for it again. But I'm finding that if I massage it, it seems to be doing a little better. I'd like it pulled one more time, because he got like, I don't know, 80 cc's of fluid out of there the first time. And it's, I don't know, I've either gotten used to it, but it's still there. I call it my third tit. But anyway, I'm finding that if you massage it and maybe put some heat on it and see if you can get it to work back into your body, it might work a little better. If it hasn't gone down in 2 weeks, I'm definitely going to take the chance again and have him aspirate it. But the other side's all flat, I got no boob, but thanks to Susie M, I got boobs and hair now. So even if I died, I'd look good in the casket. Yuck, yuck. So there you go, girls. Make sure you're watching your diet stuff. Make sure you're keeping yourself hydrated. Make sure that you're not taking any extra chemicals that you don't need going into your body. I still can't give up my cigarettes. I got my Nicoderm box sitting in the kitchen. And this is the second chemo treatment. And all the girls are telling me that I'm going to get this metallic taste in my mouth. So food's going to taste like shit. And I'm sure cigarettes are going to taste like shit. And then I'm setting a date mentally now to slap on my Nicoderm and give the smoking thing a jolly try. I'll have to remove all my ashtrays, because I only smoke in 2 rooms in the house, and that's my war room. And then very seldom do I smoke in my bedroom, because I like it clean and clear. And crack a window, because I need the fresh air. Oh, and caffeinated drinks. I love my hot chocolate. And I like to have coffee in the morning. But if you're having diarrhea, you really don't want to do either or. Just get yourself some of that emergency vitamin C that you can mix with good water. And throw some ice over it. Keep lemons around too. That's good for your diarrhea. It helps kill off the bacteria in your guts. So I always buy a bag of lemons and squeeze it into either my Gatorade or you know, my ice water, whatever. So I hope I brought you up to par on some of the things you're going to experience the first time. I'll bring you up to par on what I'm going through on the second one. And don't give up, girls. I mean, fuck, you know, I know women that have been in cancer treatment for 10 years. And they're still doing it. They're still alive. Granted, it's a big overshadow in their lives. But they make it in that every third week, you know, and their husbands are with them or their boyfriends are with them. And some do really well and some don't do really well. But the more you move around and exercise and stay busy, get your ass up and do the laundry, get your ass up and stack the dishwasher and feed the critters and whatever else you can do to motivate yourself all day. And then stay up till you're tired. And once you're tired, if you're having trouble sleeping, pop one of those sleeping pills that you don't get addicted to, and it's got the serotonin in it, and get some rest. And don't forget to take time for you. Rub yourself down like a butterball turkey. And keep your nails up. You might experience, like I did, I ended up with cracked first knuckles. The first knuckles on, they dried out really bad. Maybe you can grease them up really good and wear some of the gloves at night while you're sleeping and keep them soft. I've known women that have lost their nails, and I mean the entire nail. So be watchful of that. And try to do it as natural as you can with food and vitamins coming out of your vegetables and your fruits and yogurt, because then you don't have to tell the doctor that you're trying this vitamin or that vitamin or this vitamin and worry about interactions. If you do it naturally, you do better. And this week I'm going to try the smoothie thing. I'm thawing some fresh strawberries out, and I bought some almond milk, and I got bananas, and trying to think of what else I'm going to have to look up and see what some of the best smoothies are. I know I could put honey in there for sweetener, and I got that out already. And honey is a really good antibacterial naturally. Did you know you could put that on a wound and it won't kill the skin, but it'll kill the bacteria in a wound? Keep that in mind. That's another natural. So anyway, I've gone on for about 25 minutes and I'm still in a good mood. And this is Amazon Jude checking out from Wyoming. Stay positive. You can blame